Hi, everyone. I'm Red Mortem. Um, we just had a political election here in America. I'm a U.S. citizen myself, born and raised. Um, and I just felt like it was an appropriate time to talk about some of the rhetoric that's been kind of going on the past, I don't know, fucking forever, it feels like. Um, but it's more rhetoric I have seen used towards other people, not necessarily myself. This rhetoric hasn't necessarily been used against myself, so I can't really speak too much on it, at least to a self personal level. Just it's stuff I've seen, and I feel like I don't want to say that there's no space for it, but I more so want to say that I feel like we should really be getting past this because clearly people are fed up. People are really just fed up in this country. There's no better way of wording it than just saying that people are incredibly fed up with how things have been going in this country. I wouldn't say the past 4 years, especially the past 4 years, but just in general, just ever since ever, like every time we hear about, it turns out that we started a war for God knows what reason. We've been doing stuff in regions that we shouldn't have been in for reasons that the American people wouldn't really ever agree with. Extrajudicial assassination of American citizens, like assassination attempts on our own presidents. It's like I'm not even talking about the one that just got elected. I'm talking about like previous ones, pretty obvious cases, especially with like I would say just like even something as simple as like JFK. It's just like I think most people would agree that CIA was probably some level either involved or planned it. I wouldn't say they planned it, but they were at least involved in it. Just because you look at it, there's too many things that just happen back to back, especially with events like that. There's just like too many coincidences, especially with things like what you would call the butterfly effect. Is like too many things that happen that would be able to be attributed to something like the butterfly effect, and it's kind of something similar we saw with uh well, I guess President-elect Trump now, because he just got confirmed for 277 electoral. I was planning on making this even before then because we were just basically waiting on Alaska to finish up because Alaska always goes red almost, and at least for Trump. And it was just kind of sure shot because it's already at 267. It seems like he might hit 312. We don't know. I'm seeing here right now it's 277, so he's at least one. He's at least one. He has currently he currently has the popular vote, so it is a clean sweep. He has won the electoral college. There's a possibility of a 312 win. That looks very, I won't say very likely, but there's a very good chance of it happening. So yeah, I would say very likely. Um, there's also incredibly good chance he's won the just overall population vote just in general. Like even without the electoral college, it looks like he won that too. Like so, there's no doubt in anyone's mind that this is not what the American people want because it's just too overwhelming from every front. Like this Republicans just won back the Senate with the possibility of winning 55 seats. I don't think they're gonna win 55 seats. It's probably like 52, maybe 53 at best for them. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm talking about the parties like it's disconnected because I feel like a lot of people are really just disconnected. There's been too much name calling. I don't want to be like, oh, Trump started the name call. Trump has always been a name caller. Go back in his history. He's always been incredibly brash. He's always been that. But the issue is that a lot of people try to copy that. And it's just that's who Trump is, and that's why people like that, is because that's just who he is. And I feel like that's one thing that our political landscape has fallen so far from because back in the days of like even I would say like radio stuff like that. It's like those people won because they're incredibly likable because people believed that they were who they said they were. They were at least good at acting it, if not portraying it. We have such shitty actors now. It's like it's so bad, it's so blatant that you could not sell me. If this was a movie, it would flop. Because one, people would be like, nah, no, these, at least half the people in the political spectrum aren't believable. Like, you can't believe them. Either the rhetoric is too far blown out, or it's just over speaking what they believe. It's just like, you couldn't believe it if it was put in a movie, and I feel like that is a very good gauge for how far it has just devolved. I don't know what else word to use, but it's just devolved. Because we used to be a very proud country, a very good country. Oh, jeez, I just knocked something over, but that's fine. And with that, I just feel that there needs to be a change in how we talk. Because obviously, Trump is an incredibly good basher. He's always been. That's just kind of who he is. But I feel like too many people are trying to copy that. But I feel like there's a good amount of people who are realizing why he won. It's not because it's not because he was a brash talker. It's not because of his stances even. A lot of people I feel like voted for him because one, they were fed up with the rhetoric of, oh, everything's fine. There's nothing going on. Two, you should be happy that, like we're all these people are coming into the country. Three, it's like the economy's fine. What are you talking about? Like, no, nobody believes this crap. No one believes it. And the fact that they kept trying to sell it, and then they sell like different sides of the story to different states when they're doing political ads, especially Democrats. I couldn't attribute to Republicans. I'd have to go look, but I know for at least Democrats, they were doing campaigns in one state for pro-Palestine stuff, and then another state was pro-Israel. And I'm like, what the fuck? So okay, which side are you? Just tell me. I don't give a fuck which side you are. Just tell me which one. Don't be wishy-washy. Because here's the thing: Trump isn't wishy-washy. He's a person. The only wishy-washy about him is when he gets new information and he changes his mind because either A, he doesn't think it fits to what he believes, or B, he doesn't think it fits his stances or his just like his overall mantra overall. It's just like he doesn't believe that it would fit very well with himself. Like even if it's not necessarily something he believes, it's just he knows it wouldn't go over well. And that's because he's always been what you could almost call like a master class in publicity. He knows what he's doing. There's no doubt in anyone's mind Trump is an idiot. Like, yeah, he might not know the best for like a lot of political things, but holy crap, is this guy a master class in selling? He made a book, Art of the Deal. He has gone bankrupt so many times and bounced back from it so many times because he used all these loopholes that he talked about back in 2016 that no one wants to get rid of. And it's like, because it's just so stupid. Because people are like, oh, Trump's not smart. Trump is utilizing the system in every fucking way he can. And he's just making a mockery of it. Because he's like, look at what I can do using your system. Your system is clearly broken. Maybe you should wake up and do something about it. Obviously, he doesn't use those words because he's a lot more playful with it. But it's it's just so sad that people don't realize that that's what he's doing. Like, now to be fair, it's like maybe you do like his politics, like, yeah, then you just got a great candidate. Good for you. No beef. Like, you got a candidate you like, and good for you. I genuinely don't care. It's like I just feel like a lot of people misunderstand how he works and how he does stuff. Okay, anyways, we should really get into a lot of the other stuff I want to talk about because I really want to make this short, and this is literally not short at all. So this might be like a 20-minute video. I'm gonna just kind of burn through all the other things. The next thing is I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions around abortion and stuff. I feel like that there are people who utilize it in a very, I don't want to say scandalous, but mischievous way, in which they're very, very, very rare cases in which people get abortions because they want to at incredibly late stages. And a lot of people like using those incredibly rare cases and overhyped analytics to be like, look, a lot of people are being murdered before they're even born. And it's like, yes and no, because how many of those are miscarriages? How many of those are because of a complication? How many of those are because of, it's like when you look at abortion statistics, all those are together. It's really hard to distinguish which is which because of, guess what? HIPAA laws. I don't want to get rid of HIPAA laws. I don't. It is one of the greatest things we have. And I feel like if you got rid of HIPAA laws, you're really just shooting everyone in the foot. And so it's like whenever people talk about, oh, there's so many abortions going on, it's like, well, there's also a lot of complications going on. And a cat's tagging at the door, don't mind. Um, so I feel like there should be a lot more power within the hands of the doctors because doctors know what the fuck they're doing. They're not, especially OBGYNs, they're not there for profit and stuff. A lot of them are on either hourly or salary, mostly salary. And so it's like they're not gonna be like pushing for abortions. Like if they think that a pregnancy is a threat to someone, yeah, they're gonna go ahead with it. I mean, like obviously they're gonna talk to the patient, make sure that's what they want because that's what they have to do. Except for in cases of extreme emergencies. But anyways, that's just one thing. It's like obviously we could talk about like how long someone can say they don't want a pregnancy for up until that point. But I feel like there should be a lot more powers in the hand of the doctors because they know what they're doing. They've been trained their whole life for this. Why the fuck are we debating on that? Obviously, there are in a lot of other fields, doctors are a little bit more questionable because they have, like their hands in certain kinds of money, and it's like, yeah, we should probably be looking into a lot more, but there's a lot more investigation we can doing into those. Anyways, we should really keep going. We need a lot more talk about specifically public education in cities because I feel like we have this whole misconception of, oh, we're not doing enough for them. And yeah, in a lot of cases, we aren't. We really aren't. And I feel like one of the major ways we are just screwing over people who are younger. And I just feel that there's just a lot of bad talking around it because a lot of people want to say, oh, like we need a lot more money in the political system. I feel like there's a lot more issues with I don't want to. I don't want to say like, oh, there's a lot more issues with families, but there is. There's a lot of fatherless households because we have incentivized that. Because I do know, I can't say of personal, but I can say of statistics that I know is that a lot of people break up and they get divorced because there's actually a literal profit incentive to do that. And it's like because they're already broke, they don't have money. That's the number one reason for marriages failing is because there's no money. Why do you have arguments with people so often? It's because who's going to pay the bill? Can we pay for this? Can we pay for that? Man, I really want this. I really want that. It's because of the economy. I feel like at the root of a lot of crap is the economy. Our economy is doing dog shit. We're not manufacturing our own stuff. We're relying on way too much on other countries. There's a lot of bullshit jobs that don't do shit. Yeah, we have fucking 3,000 positions in HR that aren't doing shit except talking crap to each other all day. And guess what? I've talked to those people. I know that's happening. One big example is Twitter. How many people did they have before? They're running on like 30 people now, and I would say that the profit margin for that company has probably gone up. The only reason it went down is because the government can no longer control it, and that's where they're getting a lot of their money is the government control. And that is why it's no longer quote unquote viable, is because the government's not backing it because the government can't control it. Because they can't run narratives on it. And they're really pissed about that because now people can actually speak. Which I find really fucking funny. But anyways, another thing that there needs to be a talk about is ownership. There needs to be a lot more talk about like why the fuck is it that we have these things like I don't want to bash things like Zillow and stuff, but it's like why the fuck does someone need like here okay, here's the thing. I understand having a house and then a vacation house. Beyond that, what the fuck? Why do you need more than like two? Because it's like I know a few people who have like quote unquote vacation houses, but it's like really cheap, like 40 to like 50K houses. It's just like basically like a house somewhere in the country that they can at least like stay while they're in that region, while they're like, it's usually like go see family or something like that. And it's like, typically they're not lavish. Like usually your main house is much nicer. But anyways, a lot of those or just like for convenience, and it's like sometimes it's for business, like maybe like, oh, you have to go out to like work out there a lot, so you get like even something like an apartment, like you buy an apartment somewhere. It's just stuff like that. It's like, why do some people own so many fucking houses? Why are we making such a heavy profit incentive for people, for specifically companies, to build apartments and houses, and then only rent them, never sell them, only rent them, and then design them in a way that they can never be sold? They are specifically designed to never be sold, and that is incredibly, only word I can think is corrosive to the structure of the country, because at the root of everything, you want the freedom to be able to express yourself. You want the freedom to be able to determine what your house looks like, what siding your house has. It's like these are just core tenets of like what you almost consider the American dream. It's like, if you can't have that quote unquote white picket house with the fences, with the dog and the two kids and the wife, and then like, it's like that 50s mentality, but like there's a lot of issues with it. But you know what I'm talking about. The freedom to do that. Just the freedom. What the fuck is it that we can't, people can't have a normal 9 to 5 and they can pay for that? It's like you have to have two 9 to 5s. Both people have to be working. Now you have to give babies. It's like it's a whole fucking chain of issues because nobody knows what the hell is going on. We can't have an honest discussion, because if you want to have a discussion about the economy, then you're being calling someone else a capitalist, calling someone else a communist. Oh, this, let's lob some words at each other. It's like, can we just have an honest sit down discussion about why our economy is bad? Because here's the thing: I'm not an economic expert. I don't fucking know. But why can't our fucking experts sit down and actually figure this out? They always, oh well, it's because of and then they change it every 2 fucking weeks. It's stupid. Figure it out. How much are we paying for you? Here's the thing: if you can't figure out why our economy's shit, guess what? We should fire you. What the fuck are you doing if you're not figuring this shit out? Anyways, sorry, I didn't mean to get into such a rant about the economy, but it kind of is like a down, is the main basin of which every other thing has a downstream effect, because we have a political health crisis because of it, because people have very high uncertainty of their life. People can't really form families because like now it's like one person can't really support a whole household, so now both people have to go on, and it's like, well, who's going to take care of the kid? And it causes a lot more strain on families. It's especially if you're not making enough. It's like, if you're making enough, yeah, you can hire your city, you can hire a house cleaner, but it's like, who the fuck has money for that? Not a lot of people. That's like, you look at maybe like top 2%, top 3%, but it's like, okay, they're 97%. I guess we're fucked. Congratulations. That's kind of messed up, don't you think? And I feel like a good tie into that is, I feel like America hasn't been prioritizing its own citizens for a very, very long time. And I think that's sad. Um, at least in certain areas, New York, California, we've given money away to people based on their identity, to people based on their ethnicity, people based on where they came from. I think we can just all sit down and agree. We're all American citizens. We all want what's best for the future. But looking at the past every 10 fucking seconds and being like, oh, well, my 28th fucking grandfather was a slave to my, it turns out, my fucking other side. It's like, okay, well, one side of your family's slavery and the other side's slave on. It's like, so maybe there's a better way of doing this. Maybe we shouldn't give a fuck. Maybe we should make opportunities for everyone to get ahead. Why do we have to focus on the past so much? You know who focused on the past a lot? Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler had a lot of grievances about the Jews and what they did in the past. Maybe if someone like him were to have been like, hey, what can we do for the future? Maybe things like World War II, maybe things like the Holocaust wouldn't have happened, because maybe it would have been a lot more positive environment to talk about bettering the country and not just negatively tearing down each other. Because that is the path you walk down when you try to be like, well, this happened to me in the past. if it happened to you directly in your life, yes, there was a talk about it. If it happened to you in your family life, no, we should make opportunities for people to get ahead that everyone can take, so that those who have the drive and the passion to get ahead. Because here's the thing, I don't want it to just be like, oh, we want to just basically be giving handouts, because clearly handouts only work for a short amount of time. No, we want to create a free flowing society in which if you work hard, you can live a happy life. Is that so much to ask for? And I feel like it is becoming so much to ask for, and that is a sad reality. I do not want to live in a world where it is impossible that even if you work as hard as you can, bare to the bones, like, just because you're not as smart as everyone else, you're fucked. That sounds kind of messed up. Like, even the stupidest people among us should be able to live a decent life. And I feel it's sad that we have to drag them into our politics, that we have to drag in gang violence statistics and rhetoric of the past to try to be like, oh, won't you rid me of this priest? Because I feel like a lot of people are like that about our current president, or not our current president, but our upcoming president, because obviously there's been two assassination attempts and then one plot from a different country that was all trying to off him. Thank God all three have been foiled. But it's mind numbing, absolutely mind numbing to see the direction our country's going in. Because it's like we have so much influence, we have so much power, and we are squandering it all over bickering of who gets what. How about we make a system that actually enfranchises people to do work instead of enfranchising people for existing or being born where they were? It's like, it's almost like we had something in the Constitution, or the Bill of Rights or something. It feels like there was something about there, and about, like, oh, I don't know, life, freedom, the pursuit of happiness. I don't know. It's just a weird concept. I don't know. Maybe someone saw that before. It's just stupid. But yeah, so the rhetoric needs to stop. We need to stop talking about fucking demographics so much, because guess what? Everyone wants to live a happy life. Everyone wants to live a good life. Everyone wants to see riches in life. Everyone wants to travel the world. Everyone wants to do that. But until we incentivize people to actually do work, not even just like incentivize people to do work, just make it, I don't know, possible for them to do work. I feel like we're just fucking hamsters in a wheel until we can fix it. Because it's just never ending shit. Well, that's about all I have to say. I usually don't do political rants, but I feel like it was necessary. Hopefully a lot of people are saying the same stuff I am, because if not, I feel like we're just gonna kind of fall into the same trap. We're just gonna keep spinning in that circle. We're just gonna be putting a little hamster feet in the wheel, and the more mad we get, the faster it spins, and then one day the wheels just spin a little too fast, and we get caught up in it, and then we get flung out. So I hope we can slow down that wheel, get out, and be like, why the fuck are we running on a wheel? Why don't we make this wheel strapped up to a fucking generator? It's like, why don't we do something with this motivation? Why don't we do something with all this ingenuity, all this? It's just like, I feel like there's a lot of other people who have much better ways of wording what I'm saying. So I hope that if anyone sees this, I hope this inspires you to either A, talk to people who you know, just have a conversation. It doesn't have to be mind blowing. It should be like just a normal conversation about some of the things I talked about. Fuck, I don't give a fuck what you pull from this. I don't care if you pull this tiniest sliver of crap from this. But I just hope that we just have the right discussion, because I feel like a lot of the times we have really stupid discussions that do nothing but bash each other. And it just pisses me off because I've been watching it my whole life. Just left, first, right, might makes right. Bullshit. That's really it. So, hope you all do well. Like the video, like, share, subscribe. I don't give a damn. I don't really post that much. I mean, obviously, if you guys want to talk about this shit, I'm more willing to talk about anyone who wants to talk about it. But, that's all. See ya.